I know many of you were asking about the reports of 10 confirmed cases of polio in Syria. So I ventured to give you a little bit of an update in an attempt to answer some of your questions. The WHO is undertaking emergency plans to increase vaccination coverage among the affected populations and in neighboring countries. There haven't been, I believe, Leslie, you asked this question yesterday, specific requests from other countries, but that would be managed through the WHO, as would be expected, but not specifically to us through diplomatic channels at this stage, although they are obviously taking a proactive step here. Broadly speaking, we donate to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative through the WHO. That's something we're committed to, and we have for a number of decades. And of course, as we discussed yesterday, we remain concerned, extremely concerned by the outbreak of polio, especially given the decline in medical services and the humanitarian crisis in Syria. And one other quick item for all of you that's marginally related. I mentioned yesterday that the Secretary had spoken with Foreign Minister Lavrov. They discussed, of course, ongoing plans for a Geneva conference. They also discussed the pressing humanitarian needs in Syria, particularly the WHO's finding of a polio outbreak in the country's north. The Secretary urged that the United States and Russia work in partnership to tackle this challenge, emphasizing that Russia can play an important role in encouraging the regime to allow humanitarian access and the delivery of essential aid.
On the conference, it's looking, the chances appear to be slimming from, I don't know what, to less than what. And I'm just wondering if you have any response to what President Assad told, or apparently told, Mr. Brahimi earlier about a political track being useless unless all foreign assistance to the opposition, he said the extremist opposition, but I take that to mean that all of the opposition, because he considers all of them to be extreme, unless that's stopped, that really a conference or the political process is meaningless. Do you take that as a sign that the Syrian government is less willing or unwilling to participate in Geneva too?
Well, broadly speaking on these comments, the Assad regime has deceptively, over the course of time, tried to portray itself as the protector of Syria from terrorists and extremists from the beginning of this conflict. That's patently false. They bear overwhelming responsibility for the violence that has taken the lives of more than 100,000 people, and that has displaced millions of people inside Syria and outside the country. Our focus, as you know, remains on pushing forward on a political solution. Part of the Secretary's discussions with the Foreign Minister Lavrov yesterday were on moving this process forward, which they both remain committed to. As has been the case for months, the Russians are the point of contact with the regime on getting them to a conference and reiterating to them the importance of why a political solution is the right step. Those efforts are ongoing.
Very quickly
sure.
on something about the meeting between Ambassador Ford and Vice Premier Jamil. We're reporting that during the meeting, it's coming from senior officials in the Middle East, that the meeting, that during that meeting, Jamil put forward what Ford apparently regarded as unworkable proposals on the Geneva talks. Was there discussion, I mean, were there proposals put forward by him, and were they his own, or were they part of a broader something from the Assad government?
Well, he was representing himself and representing a political party during the meeting. I know some people asked about this yesterday, so let me just answer it proactively. He did request the meeting. Yeah. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss Geneva and discuss planning moving forward. So I'm certain they did discuss details of that. It's not for us to decide or determine in some sort of separate effort what the process or what the agenda or what the proposals will be. I mean, that's part of the discussion we're having with the UN and the Russians. So I know obviously Ambassador Ford was happy to listen to him, but beyond that I don't have any other specific readouts of what he may or may not have proposed.